Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A number of you wanted me to go through some of the challenge problems from 11.7, so I'm going to do problem 1 and 2. So in problem number 1, we're told that there are 5 values in the data set and that the MAD is 4. So what that's telling us is that this row of numbers right here, when you add all those up and divide by 5, you get 4. So when um, So 1A then asks, what is the sum of those numbers? And so the sum of those numbers is 20. Let me just fill this in. The MAD equals 4. So then 1B tells us that this row of numbers here is 2, 5, 6, and 4. And then they want to know what is the third number. So we've got this missing number here, right? So let me just get rid of that. So if we know that this whole row and this whole thing needs to add up to 20, so then we have to take 20 minus whatever these numbers add up to. So 2 and 5 and 6 and 4 equals 17. So then I know that this number here is a 3. The problem is that we don't know what order these go in. So 1C is really, what do we call the sum? It's really the absolute value of those numbers. The absolute distance is the answer to that question, really. 1D tells us a great piece of information. It tells us that this number here and this number here are negative numbers. So this is a -6 and a -4. Well, that's really nice because now we know, if you look back at the explore activity for 11.7 and you see the tables, they're vertical tables rather than horizontal tables, you'll see that the middle distance has some negative numbers. And all that means is that the negative numbers are less than the mean. So now I know that this is my data set. So I know this row right here is a -6, -4, 2, 3, and 5. 3, Mr. Raber. And now and so that means that this is a 6, this is a 4, this is a 2, this is a 3, and this is a 5. And that just matches this set of numbers that we have right here. So then part 1E gives us our last bit of information. It tells us that this row here, our data set row, has a mean of 25. That means when I add up all of these numbers and divide by 5, I get 25. So based on these numbers here, I know how far away each of these are from the mean. Because the negative number is smaller than the mean, so 25 minus 6 tells me that number is 19. 25 minus 4 tells me that this number is 21. 25 plus 2 tells me this number is 27. Now, why did I do a plus 2? Because it's a positive 2 here, not a negative. On the negative, they're smaller than. Positive, they're greater than. Okay? So then 25 plus 3 gives me 28. And 25 plus 5 gives me 30. Now when I add up this row of numbers, I end up at 125 divided by 5 equals 25, which is my mean right here. So setting up a table helps you understand and work your way through the information that you're given. That's part of one of the challenges, because it's a 11.7 challenge. So one of the challenges is to put this information in a way that you can process it. So I'm going to just quickly erase this and go over problem number 2. Problem number 2 is the same kind of problem. Okay, we're going to use a little, but we're given more information. So we have 3 rows and we have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. And we know information about each of those numbers. We know that our data set number is 4 here. We know we have a -4 here. We know we have a 1 here. We have a 3 here. We don't have anything in this column here, but we have a 5 here. Now, up at the top, it tells us that the mean of the data set is 12 and the MAD equals 4. Okay, so that means this number here, this column here, when we add it up and we divide by 6, we end up with 4. So
Excuse me, Mr. Rupert, what problem was this?
This is problem number 2 on 11.7. So if I know that this number is 4, how far away from 12 from the mean is 4? It's a -8. So how far is that from 0? That's 8 units. So if this number is a -4, that means it's 4 units away from 12. So this number is an 8. And this is a +4. Now, we recognize that this number here on this row, this number is a positive. So now we're larger than 12. So 1 larger than 12 is 13. So this number is also a 1. If this number is a 3, then this number has to be a +3. How do I know that? Well, because it's to the right. And right here is my dividing line, because this is a -4, this is a +1. Okay? So then 3 greater than 12 is 15. Now I don't have this column here, but this one is 5, so this number is 5. So 5 away from 12 is 17. So now we need to find this missing number. So how do we find this missing number? Well, I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, when you divide this whole set by 6, you get 12. So I know that this row has to equal 72 because 6 times 12 is 72. So then I need to go through and add up each of these numbers. And if I go through and add up each of these numbers, 12, 4 and 8 is 12, and 13 is 25, and 15 is 40, and 17 is 57. So I know that this is a 57. So all these 5 add up to 57, so subtract that, and I know that my missing number here is 15. So then this is a 5, and this is a 5. So now let's work this out and see if we can actually get our number, right? So 72 divided by 6 is 12, so we did prove that. So 8 and 4 is 12, and 1 is 13, and 3 is 16. Sorry, that's not right. 12, 13. Oh, this is not a 5, sorry. This is a 3, not a 5. So
How did you get that?
How did I get this column?
Yes, those 3s.
So, well, I mistakenly wrote those as 5s because 5 goes with 17. And we calculated this number here to be 15. So these 3s just match these 3s. They're 3 away from 12 and 3 away from 12. So sorry about that. So then these numbers added up equals 24. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. So my MAD and my MAD are the same. And that's problem number 2. So just as a really quick problem number 3, one person did it this way. One of the numbers is 6. So 6, 8, 10, and then 12, and 12, and 12. And those all add up to 60. 60 divided by 6 is 10. 60 divided by 6 equals 10. And then this number here is 2 away. This is 1 away. This is 0. And then this is 2, and 2, and 2. This is 4 away. So add those up and you get 12. And 12 divided by 6 is 2, so we meet all of those qualifications. You didn't have to do that you didn't have to do problem 3 or 4. If you had been to our Zoom, you didn't have to do that. So anyways, there's questions 1 and 2. on the 11.7C. Thank you.